Hi everyone, welcome to another Sunday service, second Sunday of Lent. This week's a little bit different. We're going to be largely led by Bill Shaw, who you've probably seen before reading some of the service on a few occasions. But Bill's going to talk to us about the relationship between God and science. And so you're going to hear quite a bit from Bill. So please be very supportive. We've never done anything like this before. So let's begin.
Welcome to this online space. This is sacred space, holy ground, as real to us as any church building, our home, a place of welcome to us all. Many of us are unable to access physical church, but here we are all made welcome. This is our space. Come on in.
Though we are far apart, let us feel a closeness. Let us reach out across the ether, unite us in time and space. Teach us to be alone, yet together. This is your temple, Lord, although there are no walls. The web is where we gather, as real to us as any church. Computers, phones, and tablets are our prayer books. Our prayers float in the ether like incense across the sanctuary.
God of light, a light that breaks through the darkness, a light that penetrates all hidden corners, a light that comes to us through a little child born in Bethlehem. We have followed your star, and it has brought us here. May we continue to diligently search for him each day, so that we may offer our lives to you in joy and thanksgiving.
Again we say, teach us a new song, Lord, a song for those who go unsung. Praise the ones that do our dirty work, the pushers of chairs, the wipers of bums, the makers of tea, the cleaners of loos, the moppers of floors, the fetchers of shopping, the givers of meds, the shovelers of snow, the ones that call to see we are okay. Teach us that new song, Lord, that lets them know they are loved. The ones who put their dreams on hold, Lord, that give until they are spent. The ones who go unnoticed, Lord. The ones who are now so tired, Lord, yet each day they summon up their strength, get up and do it all again. The ones constantly and quietly meeting our needs. The ones that keep us rolling along. Teach us to say thank you, Lord, for every ounce of care, for every act of love, for each sacrifice they make on our behalf. Shower them with your abundant blessings, Lord.
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sic sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimite nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentatione.
Kyrie eleison, Christi eleison, Kyrie eleison, Christi eleison, Kyrie eleison, Christi eleison,
Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, when God created the universe, the earth was formless and desolate. The raging ocean that covered everything was engulfed in total darkness, and the power of God was moving over the water. Then God commanded, "Let there be light," and light appeared. God was pleased with what he saw. Then he separated the light from the darkness, and he named the light Day, and the darkness Night. Evening passed, and morning came. That was the first day. Then God commanded, "Let there be a dome to divide the water, and to keep it in two separate places." And it was done. So God made a dome, and it separated the water under it from the water above it. He named the dome Sky. Evening passed, and morning came. That was the second day. Then God commanded, "Let the water below the sky come together in one place, so that the land will appear." And it was done. He named the land Earth, and the water which had come together he named Sea. And God was pleased with what he saw. Then he commanded, "Let the earth produce all kinds of plants, those that bear grain and those that bear fruit." And it was done. So the earth produced all kinds of plants, and God was pleased with what he saw. Evening passed, and morning came. That was the third day. Then God commanded, Let lights appear in the sky to separate day from night, and to show the time when days, years, and religious festivals begin. They will shine in the sky to give light to the earth. And it was done. So God made the two larger lights, the sun to rule over the day, and the moon to rule over the night. He also made the stars. He placed the lights in the sky to shine on the earth, to rule over the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God was pleased with what he saw. Evening passed, and morning came. That was the fourth day. Then God commanded, "Let the water be filled with many kinds of living beings, and let the air be filled with birds." So God created the great sea monsters, all kinds of creatures that live in the water, and all kinds of birds. And God was pleased with what he saw. He blessed them all, and told the creatures that live in the water to reproduce, and to fill the sea, and he told the birds to increase in number. Evening passed, and morning came, and that was the fifth day. Then God commanded, "Let the earth produce all kinds of animal life, domestic and wild, large and small." And it was done. So God made them all, and he was pleased with what he saw. Then God said, "And now we will make human beings. They will be like us and resemble us. They will have power over the fish, the birds, and all animals, domestic and wild, large and small." So God created human beings, making them to be like himself. He created them male and female, blessed them, and said, "Have many children, so that your descendants will live all over the earth and bring it under their control. I am putting you in charge of the fish, the birds, and all the wild animals. I have provided all kinds of grain and all kinds of fruit for you to eat, but for all the wild animals and for all the birds, I have provided grass and leafy plants for food." And it was done. God looked at everything he had made, and he was very pleased. Evening passed, and morning came. That was the sixth day.
There are three main things that I would like to get across this morning. The first is that the biblical worldview was essential for the development of science in the first place. The second is that it was Christians who developed science. And the third is that the Bible is still needed for the practice of science. Let me start by defining what science is. What is science? It's the study of the natural world, the study of matter and energy, and the study of the laws that govern them. This, for example, is the ATLAS particle detector at CERN in Switzerland, which was used to identify the Higgs boson, which is known as the God particle. It helps us to answer the question, what is matter? We had a reading from Genesis 1 earlier, and there are two important things I'd like to bring out from Genesis 1. The first is that creation is separate from God. God makes a universe which is separate from himself. The second is that creation is good. Now, these are important ideas because, first of all, in the Bible, there's no pantheism, there's no polytheism. The Bible is monotheistic,
And in Genesis 1, God creates a creation different from himself. The second is that creation is good. And this is important because the Greeks, for example, tended to look down on matter. They tended to emphasize ideas. So those are two key ideas right in the very first chapter of the Bible. Another important idea is that creation obeys laws. As I mentioned earlier, definition of science is discovering the laws that govern matter and energy. And again, this idea that creation obeys laws is found in the Bible. So that, for instance, God asked Job, "Do you know the laws of the heavens?" That's Job 38:33. And in Jeremiah, God speaks of his covenant with the day and the night. "If you can break my covenant with the day and my covenant with the night, so that day and night no longer come at their appointed time." Jeremiah 33:20. So, key ideas in the Old Testament for the development of science. Now, the scientific revolution happened in Europe in the 16th and 17th centuries. A particularly important date is the publication of Sir Isaac Newton's Principia in 1687. For the scientific revolution to occur, Greek thinking had to be challenged, in particular Aristotle. Aristotle said that everything in the heavens, the stars and the planets, moved in perfect circles around the Earth. Now, the people who challenged this were Copernicus, Kepler, Galileo, and Sir Francis Bacon. Copernicus said that the planets revolved around the sun, not the Earth. Kepler discovered that the planets move in elliptical orbits, not in circles. You can think of an ellipse as a sort of squashed circle. If you took a circle and squashed the top and the bottom, you would end up with an ellipse. Galileo showed that there were moons orbiting Jupiter, so that not all motion was around the Earth. And Sir Francis Bacon, who's credited with developing the scientific method, said that it was time to get rid of Aristotle's ideas and experiment. They were all Christians. Kepler, for example, said quite simply, "I'm a Christian." And he's quoted as saying, "I had the intention of becoming a theologian, but now I see how God is, by my endeavours, also glorified in astronomy, for the heavens declare the glory of God." And he's quoting Psalm 19 there. Kepler referred to astronomy as thinking God's thoughts after him. So finally, to come on to my third point, that the Bible is still needed for the practice of science. Science makes a number of assumptions, and one of these is the principle of uniformity. This is the assumption that the laws we discover on Earth have applied throughout the universe, throughout time. So, for example, we gather data from a star 1 billion light years away, and which has taken 1 billion years to reach us, and assume that the laws we have recently discovered on Earth applied 1 billion light years away 1 billion years ago. It's actually a huge assumption. And if the universe started as a huge Big Bang and has been expanding randomly since then, as the atheists claim, there are no grounds for that assumption. But if a creator made the whole universe, this is Genesis 1 again, then we can make that assumption. We can assume that the laws we have discovered on Earth in the last few hundred years can be applied to a star 1 billion light years away and data from 1 billion years ago. Atheists try to hijack science, but I don't think we should let them. As we've just seen, their assumption that the universe is the result of random processes actually undermines science. So what I'd like you to take away from this is 3 things, please. First of all, the Bible was essential for the development of science in the first place. It was Christians who developed science, and the Bible is still needed for the practice of science.
As we make this pilgrim journey, help us to make note of those who call out to you. Help us to pay attention to the people in our community who mourn, who are worried and frightened, and to take the time to listen as they communicate their needs, desires and prayers in whatever way is open to them. May we continue to be part of a community that values the gifts of each other and that respects the varying challenges that each of us faces. Guide us as we work to create space where each unique person feels comfortable and seen, and where difference is viewed as a blessing. And as we journey, let us place these stones we carry as cairns to mark the way for those that follow after. In the midst of our brokenness, you give us life and call on us to reflect that life back to your church. Stay close to us. Teach us to be satisfied only with your presence. Grant that we may bring healing and light to the broken places we encounter on this journey.
Even in the dark of night, you leave a light on for me and are always watching over me. Lamplighter, lover, friend, you are the keeper of my dreams. Be ours this night. When our feeble faith deserts us and fear runs amok, lend us yours. We know that that will be enough, as it has been so many times before.
Go in peace, go in kindness, go in love, go in faith. Leave the day behind us, the day is done. Go in grace. Let us go into the dark, not afraid, not alone. Let us hope by some good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Let us hope by some good pleasure safely to arrive at home.
Man gave names to all the animals in the beginning, in the beginning. Man gave names to all the animals in the beginning, a long time ago. Saw an animal upon a hill, chewing up so much grass until it was filled. Saw milk coming up, but he didn't know how. Oh, I think I call him a cow. Man gave names to all the animals in the beginning, in the beginning. Man gave names to all the animals in the beginning, long time ago. Saw an animal leave a muddy trail, real dirty face and a curly tail. He wasn't too small and he wasn't too big. Oh, I think I'll call him a pig. Man gave names to all the animals in the beginning, in the beginning. Man gave names to all the animals in the beginning, long time ago. Next animal that he did meet had wool on his back and hooves on his feet, eating grass on a mountainside so steep. Oh, I think I call him a sheep. Saw an animal as smooth as glass, slithering his way on through the grass. Some disappear by a tree near the lake. Oh, I think I call him a snake. Man gave names to all the animals in the beginning, in the beginning. Man gave names to all the animals in the beginning, long time ago. In the beginning, in the beginning. Man gave names to all the animals in the beginning, long time ago. In the beginning, in the beginning, in the beginning.